Buenos dias, hello everyone, this is Glenn Irvin, Irv Spanish, and this is video tutorial number 2 on the amazing tool Audacity. Now, what I want to do in this video is record some sound. I have my mic right here, and I want you to be able to listen to how much we can improve the sound just by using some of the tools here. So how do we make our recording basically sound great, as the title says? So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is talk about a couple of things that are going to be important. But let's go ahead and go right into Audacity here. And I'm going to press the record button here and record my voice. Hello there, this is Glenn Irvin, Irv Spanish, recording. Kind of a nice fake voice there, huh? And one of the things that I noticed right away when I pressed the record button, I actually intentionally left some blank space there because I know that in this room specifically, as I've said in the previous video, there's an air conditioner running and it's really kind of loud. It's an ambient sound. I'm used to it now, but it definitely is being picked up by the microphone. And anyway, this sound is something that I wouldn't want on the recordings. For example, if I was doing a podcast or even if I was doing a video like this one, I could actually go in there and take that out. And I want my audio to sound just awesome, like kind of like that radio type of voice that we're used to where it just sounds so rich, okay, and has some depth to it. So how do we go about doing that? Here's basically my secret sauce, if you want to go ahead and call it, to be able to make your sound great. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this selection tool as we talked about before. The two tools we talked about before was the eye tool, this selection tool. And then there was this other tool, which they call the time shift tool. I just call it the moving tool. So let's just go back to the selection tool. And if I actually double click on a sound file, like one, and I want to select this whole thing, I can just double click on it. And now that it's white on there, that means that I've selected it to do something with it. Okay? So I've selected it all again by double clicking. I could also go like this and kind of hold down the left mouse button and then highlight the area that I want to go ahead and put the effect in. That can actually be really good if you wanted to fix a specific part of your recording. So anyway, I've selected the thing here, and up here up at the top there's a different effects panel. So I'm going to click the effects, and there's all kinds of different effects here. The first one that I always use is something called the limiter. And the limiter settings that you should use that I've found to be very successful, the limiter is down kind of towards the bottom here. It says limiter. And these are the best settings that I've come up with. And that is soft limit. There's different types of limits here about clipping. I just put soft limit. And I put the limit to dB setting to -6. And the hold MS to 10. And the apply makeup gain to yes. I've experimented with all of these. Yes, no, change these settings. I actually saw a video tutorial series talking about these specific settings and how they actually change the sound. This seems to be the best for what I want as far as the sound. Then I just click OK, and you'll see my sound waves just changed, all of them. Instantaneously, you see something has occurred. The next thing I do is called normalizing. So I'm going to go ahead and click Effect. And I'm going to click normalize. And again, these are the settings that I would use if I were you. You can experiment with other things, but these seem to be the best. On normalize, I go ahead and checkbox the remove DC offset and also checkbox this normalize peak amplitude. And I put it to -3.2. You can set this to whatever you actually want. But it's going to normalize all of the sound and kind of push it down and tighten it up. And I don't checkbox, I leave this unchecked. And I press OK, and you can see the sound actually got compressed and it pushed it down and normalized it. The next thing I do is compress the sound. There's a compressor effect in here. And you go to Effect and Compressor. And again, my settings are already on there. You can use them or not. Here's the compressor effects that I use. Threshold, -20 dB. Noise floor, -40. The ratio, 2:1. The attack time at 0.20 seconds. And the release time at 1 second. And then I also checkbox this makeup gain. If you want to explore this further, again, you can mess with these and then kind of check out what they sound like. I'm going to press OK, and you can see my settings have done something again. The file has been compressed. One more time, I'm going to normalize. So I'm going to go Effect and Normalize. and then my file is all good. Now I'm going to go ahead and play this for you right now so that you can hear what it sounds like just at the moment. But I'm going to play the entire file by clicking back here, and I'm just going to press the play button, and you can listen to it now. Hello there, this is Glenn Irvin, Irv Spanish, recording. Okay, so we are back. One of the things that you maybe noticed is, and I can see it here visually, is there's something going on, obviously, with this fan, and it's making some kind of background noise. And the sound actually sounded way better than it did at the beginning, I think. It sounded way better. But there are still some things I can do to be able to fix things. The first thing I want to do is actually take out this kind of background noise, right? So how do we do that? Well, Audacity has a fantastic feature called noise reduction. And what I'm going to do is I can see that this is pretty consistent here. I'm just going to select a piece of the noise that's going on in the background, right? So I selected that here, and I'm going to go Effect, and there's an effect called Noise Reduction. So I'm going to click it. Then what I want to select, this is important, is this first little button here. It says, hey, I want to get a noise profile. Make sure you've highlighted a section that you want to basically eliminate that type of noise. So I'm going to click the Get Noise Profile. Now nothing has actually happened yet. It just has the noise profile ready to go. So again, I can select this whole file by double clicking it, and it selects it. I can see it's white, so it's selected. And then I click Effect again, and you see that something happened at the top. It says, hey, repeat the noise reduction. So now it's actually going to apply that effect. And it's going to find those specific waves that I selected before, find them, and then eliminate them. So let's see what happens. If it works, we will start seeing way less over here as far as the noise. Okay, let's click it. As we clicked it, look at how that disappeared. Now, it used to be this wavy file, and you can see right there that it's actually gone. Let's listen to it now. Hello there, this is Glenn Irvin, Irv Spanish, recording. Cool. So that's fantastic. It actually worked. It did what it was supposed to do. So that's really, 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 really awesome as far as being able to go ahead and make something that had some external noises, whatever it might be. We've had all kinds of things happen on the podcast that are these kind of noises and sounds, and been able to eliminate them so our listeners don't ever have to even know that they were even there in the first place. So background noise, as long as it's consistent, pretty easy to go ahead and take out. Once I have this file, there's several things I can do with it. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about mono versus stereo tracks. I'm going to talk about having multiple tracks and what do you do, importing music, and then finally talking about, okay, I'm ready to go. What do I do with this? I want to actually export it. So I'll see you in the next video. Gracias. Adios.